Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us. This is episode 3 of Comic Book Campaign. As always, I am your co-host Andrew, and I'm joined by the other co-host of Comic Book Campaign, Rett. Why don't you say hello?
Hello.
You always say that hello like
Yeah,
that.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing.
It's a good hello. It's a good hello.
Thank you.
We are joined. We have a special guest. We're veterans. It's our 3rd episode. We have a special guest, the dcomicqueen. Nat was so gracious enough to join us for this episode. Why don't you say hello, Nat?
Hi guys.
Hey. So
Hi.
first, sorry, go
no,
ahead.
I was just saying hi.
We have great chemistry. It's like we've been doing it for years. But yeah, this is Combo Campaign. If this is the first time you're joining us, thank you so much. This is our 3rd episode, and I really appreciate it. So Comic Book Campaign is a series where Rhett and I would usually read the first few issues of a comic, come back together, and discuss it on YouTube. So this time we're doing a little bit different. We picked Reborn. Right here, I got the trade paperback. Rhett and I read it recently. And Nat, being the comic queen, she's great. She knows a lot about comics that we do not know. She read it when it first came out a few years ago, and she is going to be joining us.
3 to be precise.
When it really came out. So Nat, again, thank you so much for joining us. And this is our first YouTube live video, so feel free to comment. Rhett's going to be checking the feed, and so if you guys want to join in the discussion, feel free. So Nat, let's start off. What were you hated this comic, Nat? That's what you were telling me before.
No, I really, really like this comic. When it first came out, I picked it up because it was Mark Millar, and I'm a huge fan of this stuff. I remember missing a certain issue and just going all over the place trying to find it. I think it was issue 3. So I totally forgot to pre-order it. But yeah, I fell in love with this comic. It has everything that I like in a book. The art is great and everything. I'm sure we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great book.
Yeah. So Rhett, I really enjoyed I told you, I opened this book when we were supposed to be reading our 2nd episode, Trees, and I said, I cannot wait. I only read the first page and I was like, I cannot wait, because the comic itself starts out with such an intense traumatic thing.
Oh, super depressing. Yes.
Super depressing.
Exactly.
And it catches you like just right from the beginning, right? Because you're like, what the hell is going on?
Right, exactly. I mean,
yeah, like where are we gonna go from here? Like
exactly. I mean, is it about this first scene or whatnot? Which, I mean, I guess technically, yes, it sort of is, but right. I mean, it's just insane. The first couple of panels, and you can't even talk about it because it'll ruin the entire thing.
Yeah. Well, why don't we do a first, like, just a general synopsis, like just what was the comic about, Rhett?
Okay. Well, there's really one main character. Her name is Bonnie, and she's in her 90s, and she's on her deathbed in the hospital. She has her daughter with her, and she has her granddaughter with her, and pretty much just waiting for her to die. And Bonnie goes into a coma and goes into this fantasy land, which you find out that everybody in this fantasy land is connected to her in some way. One of the big characters is her father. Another one is her friend Estelle. And everybody is in this fantasy land have died before she did, and it's her adventure trying to find her husband, which I'll just leave it at that. She's trying to find her husband with her dad, and she meets Estelle, who is extremely important character. She's a fairy queen. So there's fairies in this as well. And there's bad guys, which are connected to her as well, which we'll talk about that a little bit later as well. So
yeah, that was a good. You gave a little taste that
just a little morsel
of what the comic is about, and Nat, you want to touch on like the main point of the comic. One of the main points is how someone acted or behaved in this world kind of set the tone of what kind of character they were in this reborn fantasy. So kind of like good versus evil, and do you want to touch on that?
Yeah, I suppose. Like the title says, these people are reborn into this different type of world, and there's like two different type of lands. There's like some dark lands.
Yeah, it's like the Badlands.
The Badlands, and I guess that's where like the bad people go whenever you've been bad, like in this type of world that we live in. And then there's like that world where they're in. But then even the dad says that he hasn't even seen like all the places, like because I know he said he was trying to look for his wife. Yeah. So aside from that though, like I know she asks like, why am I the chosen one or whatever, and he says because you've been great your whole life, so you've always thought of others first and always put others first. So I guess it's kind of like how you acted in this life here is whatever role you're going to be put in that fantasy reborn life.
Yeah, no, it's well put, extremely well put. Yeah.
So I had a few general questions that I wanted to ask for the discussion, and one of the main ones is what you kind of touched on, which I really want to hear what you guys have to think about. This is, it seems like too convenient that I'm with you guys where it's like, oh, it's the reborn and that's where you go when you die. But what Nat kind of touched on, it's like this huge place, and then when she gets there, everyone that she kind of comes in contact with is someone from her past in the comic.
So, okay, my opinion on this, I feel like this is her afterlife.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, it's hers. And maybe, in my opinion, I feel like everyone might experience it differently.
Thank you.
Right. Okay.
Thank you. That's what Andrew and I were.
What are the
were
chances
well,
of her being that chosen person and her being the main, playing that main role in that world? Like, I don't know. To me, that was a little too.
Right. So is everyone here's the question that I think you just answered is everyone reborn into a fantasy where they are the main character and that it plays out differently? Like that was one of my main.
Maybe, but that would be like freaking cool, actually. Like living your old, fantasy type life. That'd be a cool afterlife.
Right.
Honestly. I mean, everyone has a different idea of the afterlife, and what if it is like that, just waking up and actually being reincarnated into the fantasy type of realm?
And Andrew and I were also discussing that with somebody that is bad. Let's take the main character or the main bad character. His name is Golgotha, which for any Christians out there, that's a really significant name, a really significant place, but we can discuss about that later as well. But if you're bad, there might be you're the center in your own world as well, and you're just doing everything that is bad. You're killing people. You're doing whatever you would do in the real life. You're doing that as your fantasy as well, which I thought was kind of a cool or interesting. I shouldn't say cool or maybe cool. I don't know. Point of hey, even if you're bad, you still have this fantasy that you can live out as well.
Yeah, I had an issue with the comic because someone who's not Christian, it's like I enjoyed that it wasn't hugely religious.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I know the two characters, Bonnie and I'm sorry, is it Yvette or Annette?
Estelle.
So one of them, yeah, Estelle, who's her
That
friend.
was actually really interesting how she was very religious, and they kind of covered that. How
Right. So Bonnie is someone who they didn't blatantly say she's an atheist. She's an atheist.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't really care what's going to happen at the end, and nothing's for
yeah,
certain.
when she was talking to that nurse.
Yeah, she's talking to the nurse about, who knows what's going to happen after we die. So it's confusing. Like Rhett just said, one of the main characters of the bad guys is a significant religious marker in Christianity.
For anybody that doesn't know, or I mean, if you care at all or whatnot, I mean, Golgotha is called the place of the skull. And it's right outside of Jerusalem. It's where Jesus was crucified.
Yeah. So I have this.
Cool. I have,
yep.
Yeah. So I have this weird kind of thing with the comic. Is it like on one end, the how good the Bonnie and I keep forgetting her name, Yvette, Annette, Estelle. I don't know why I'm blowing that. They both have amazing powers of goodness, even though one who was Christian and one who's probably an atheist. So I'm like, I don't get it. I like how it's non-religious, but then it has all these religious tones in it, and I feel like it should just gone one way or the other. But that's just a small, like, what were they doing? I wasn't really sure. But.
Right, exactly. And I mean, let's go with that. So another one of the bad characters ended up being Bonnie's cat. Is Natalie? And do you want anything to talk about this sad cat?
Joey. I don't know if y'all can see this. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So there, the demon is Golgotha. Yeah.
He has his own personal vendetta.
Well, what is that vendetta, Natalie?
His testicles were removed when he was 9 months old.
Yes.
Right there.
Yep.
I'm sure he hated her after that.
So he's talking about being neutered. That was there was two things about the comic that drove me nuts, and the Golgotha was one. Yeah, right, exactly. Yar. And then the other one was the whole neutered thing. I just like, why, Millar, why did you pick a cat to be one of the main bad guys? It was funny to me, and I thought with it being such a heavy hitting comic that it was too comedic. So
okay, so Nat enjoyed it. She liked it.
I thought it's funny because I don't know. It was you're seeing like this serious, and it wasn't serious to me, anyways. Like from the beginning, there's like this war going on. There's fairies, and there's these little. What are they at the beginning that they're fighting?
Oh,
I forgot what they were. But they were like little.
And there's like little people or something.
There's like dragons and stuff like that. So, I mean, I don't know. To me, it wasn't. Anything's possible when you see stuff like that.
Well, the cat. I mean, the cat dog dynamic of the comic, I feel, is just it's not outplayed. It's just like, oh, the dog is my best friend, and like the dog is gonna save, like he's my trusty best friend, and I'm like, who's the cat? The cat's angry. And the cat's coming for vengeance. It's like
kind of true, though. It's kind of true.
You know that
you know the whole thing that if you die, that your cat is going to eat you, and the dog is just going to sit next to you and love you.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Like I'm 80% sure if you have a cat, they hate you. Like, as much as you think they love you, like they really don't.
Yeah, I think the thing is,
die so they can eat you.
Yeah, if they were big enough, they would just kill you. Like they would just eat you if they could. Yeah, I think pretty much.
Yeah, aren't they like the most like
Yeah, they're predators. They kill a lot of birds and animals outside. Yeah. I know Red didn't like the cat. I didn't like it. I thought it was super cheesy how the dog like flies off a cliff, and then later in another issue,
Oh, he wasn't flies off a
no,
cliff.
what did
He
he
was
do?
booted. He was
gets
booted
Yeah,
off
they-
the
Yeah.
cliff.
They threw him off that cliff.
They threw him off the cliff. So
Yeah.
and then there's like this good kind of like, hey, the dog just shows up. I thought it'd be better if like the dog turned evil because he was gone or something. I just thought it was too like it's not.
I
It's
thought
not
this
cheesy.
part was funny too,
Oh.
where he's like flying that elephant, and then
Oh, yeah.
that dragon. So yeah, there was a lot of like funny moments. Yeah,
Okay, so Nat likes the fantasy. And she
I
likes.
love the fantasy realms. That's why I love Die so much. But
Mhm.
yeah, I love these fantasy type stories.
Yeah, I mean, like one of my favorite things of the comic is when they Bonnie and her dad, who's like super ripped and awesome, shows up
with the handlebar mustache.
Yeah, he's just like, that's what I want to be when I
Yeah,
die in the Reborn.
That's what I'm saying. Also, like I
But-
said at the beginning, I feel like it might be her fantasy, like her own. You know,
I
maybe
mean,
that's
Yeah.
how she saw her dad, and that's how he was the first person that she saw.
It was interesting that she didn't mention her dad before going into the fantasy world. I mean, did she?
Yes,
I don't know.
because whenever, yeah, he was the one that got shot.
No.
Was he? Did he? He has the one. He's the one with like the cap. Is that the dad?
I was thinking that was Harry, her
Wait, no, that was her.
her
Sorry.
husband.
Yeah.
That was her husband. My bad.
What-
Take the back. No, she doesn't mention her dad.
Okay.
Oh, right here. I don't know if this is a spoiler, but yeah, she says my father died unexpectedly.
Okay.
It's like a burned death in a steel accident. And then her mother never got over it, and she died the day after his 63rd birthday, a heart attack. So I feel like maybe personally she had a thing against her mom.
And you think that's why we don't really see her in
Maybe.
the comic?
Yeah, because she's
Yeah,
like,
that's a good
I don't
point.
know,
Yeah.
maybe.
I think to go along with that is kind of like to go along with Nat's theory is at the end with her husband. I don't know if I would just want to spoil the whole thing because I want people to read it, but like let's just say the dad doesn't really say nice things about the husband, and then it's kind of like, oh, we're cool, we can just kind of move on, and that kind of maybe goes with maybe the dad just really didn't like the husband in the real world.
Isn't her mom in the Badlands?
I think they imply at a certain point. I think she asks her dad in the comic, like,
I
do
got
you
the
think?
impression that she killed herself, actually,
Oh, I think
whenever I read that she died. I don't know. It said heart attack, but she just said it kind of like, oh, heart attack.
Okay.
Yeah, it's possible. I think in the
I don't
comic they say like she asks her dad, "Do you think mom could be the main bad guy?" And I think the dad's like, "Oh, don't say that." So, but it's kind of interesting how you never meet the mom. So I think that's something.
Wait. Say that again. When? Where?
Like I think there's a part where the Bonnie asked her dad if he thinks the mom could be the main bad person. I could be wrong, but I think they're like at a campfire and they're just like talking with each other and yeah.
Hold on.
But that is an interesting point of
Because we never see her life in this world, so maybe she did hate her mom growing up, like because maybe her dad was the one that would take care of her, and then when he passed away, her mom would like neglect her or something. Because I felt like her mom took it. She said her mom took it really seriously, like it hit her really hard.
Mhm.
So maybe after that, her mom just kind of never let that go and just never cared for her anymore. She was just kind of like, oh, guess what? I lost my husband. I don't have anything to live for anymore. Blah blah.
yeah. I mean, it's possible.
Good. Yeah, it's good theory.
But they don't really go into that, like their life in this world. So we don't know.
What do you think, Natalie, about in this fantasy world, time is still present. That you are able to age in this world, in this reborn world.
Oh, look, sorry. Hold on. Sorry, I was looking for that part.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Red,
No,
I was listening to you, Red.
it's like, I know there's something about her mom. Like, I know. I just needed to find it. No, yeah. She says we both know she had her problems, and it's like highlighted, like problems.
Oh.
So that's why she says like maybe she is Lord Golgotha. So
Mhm.
still see, I feel like maybe she was a little more to the dark side.
But that's pretty extreme, like, right? Like, hey, my mom might be kind of evil, but like, yeah,
Why
my
did
mom's
she
like
say
the
that
worst.
though? Why did she say, do you think mom could be Lord Golgotha? Like, and then her
Yeah.
dad says, why would he say a cursed thing like that? Like, maybe he never saw her mom to be that kind of person, but then she did because, like, he wasn't there after, you know, he passed. Like, she changed. And maybe her daughter saw her become this person that, you know, once she lost them, she became like a different type of person or something. I don't know. Anyway, sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. That was good.
Nat, you're blowing our minds. It's too
No,
in depth.
I'm blowing my own mind because, like, I totally forgot about it. I'm just
No,
like,
that's
oh wow, it's interesting.
no, that's the whole point. Listen, that's the whole point we're doing this is to find new comics to read and to discuss them together. So there's some things that I
Yeah.
never thought about, Rhett didn't think about, you didn't think about. That's the whole point of this.
Yeah.
So it's super deep and I love it. So it's exciting. And I don't
Well, I mean, this comic allows you to be that super deep, though, which is cool,
Yeah.
which is great.
It's what you make of it too, though. You could just read it and be like, eh, or you can like really go into it and be like, I think it's about this. So it really is up to the reader, I think.
Mm-hmm. And
Totally.
are comics a viable, you know, source? Novels, are they a valuable source of, you know, literature? I mean, is the real question. I mean, to some people maybe, and
Yeah.
other people it's art. I mean, it's the medium is really cool.
Yeah, for sure. I love getting the trade paperbacks because like in the back of this Reborn one they have like some of the concept sketches. Maybe I can pull it up, but I love looking at those. The artwork I think is 50% of it, but it's something that usually grabs me towards a specific comic. And Reborn, the artwork is awesome. And here in this trade paperback, it has some of like the concept sketches, which are I just love that part of the comic of, you know, the progression of the characters, and when you kind of get to see like the behind the scenes
like,
stuff is awesome.
yeah, like when they first thought of it, you just kind of see how they kind of wrote it down on paper. Yeah,
it's awesome. So we talked about some good, we talked about some bad. I love like when they went to a place, and a place in Reborn was just like had a specific point, like when they were captured and they went to like I forgot what it's called, like the island or of the wishes and whatever, how like if they sacrifice someone they get a wish, and I just love that whole scene where like they're captured and there's all these bad guys around, and then you wouldn't suspect the main character to wish an evil on someone, but then that kind of kills all the bad guys. And I just love that. I wish the comic had more like places that they went that had more of a fantasy kind of feel to it.
Yeah, that's why I think there was more that could have been written with this book. I expected more, honestly. Like when I finished this arc, I was just waiting for more. I was like, okay, when's the next issue gonna come out? And then it just never did. And I was waiting and waiting, and I was like, okay, like, why? Like, is that it?
Would you, if let's say that they did come out with another one, would you be expecting or wanting the plot to still continue with Bonnie, or just have somebody else, if you're going with the theory that everybody has their own fantasy world, that it's a completely different, it could be a completely different comic, different type of fantasy. It doesn't have to be, you know, trolls and whatnot. It could be just completely different.
No, I like her. I like her character. I feel
Oh,
like
same here, yeah.
huh?
Yeah, and it pretty much said. I mean, like the last issue, right, is kind of like like what Nat said. It makes no sense because the last issue is basically she becomes like it could be the jumping off point for more issues. So it really doesn't make sense how they kind of ended it there. So yeah, there's definitely probably something deeper that we don't know that why they didn't kind of continue that story.
Oh, and you know what? I just realized. Sorry.
Nat's about to drop some
No,
serious.
I'm skimming through it. You know what? I just realized because okay, she had a stroke, right? And then she never really died. She was kind of like in that coma. What if this was all just a dream? And then when she finally passed, the book was over because her dream was just over.
Andrew, take
hold
that
on. Let
one.
me throw this
Take
book
that
out.
one.
Like, no,
it's over.
Because like,
over.
she wakes up and then they're like, "Let go, you're holding back." So maybe it was all just like in her head, having like this huge coma induced. You know, she's tripping, she's on all these meds, and she's finally lets go, and then boom, she kills the guy. Story's over. She died, and that's it. She's dead.
Andrew,
that would make complete sense. Why the whole world she just sees those characters, like her family and her friends, because it's her world and it's her dream and it's her head. You know what? This is okay. That makes sense. Like that makes complete sense. Oh my god, that is crazy. I think that's what the book is about. Honestly, I feel
it only took
Andrew.
It took us 3 years, but we finally got Nat to dive deeper into Reborn to figure out her true.
So Andrew, we were talking earlier today. Describe to us the one particular scene where with Golgotha with the blood and what your interpretation of that was. I thought it was awesome.
Oh my god, I totally forgot. First of all, we just talk about how Nat just had like a spiritual awakening of how she understands this comic and how this was totally worth it.
Yeah, I totally see it completely different. Like this is gonna be from now on how I see this book and how I will explain it.
Sorry, we're sorry.
Mission accomplished. We can just end the live stream. And
can I mic drop?
Yeah, mic drop. But Nat's explanation, it's kind of funny that it just brings us back to square one, where we have no idea what happens after you die. So that kind of is a bummer, where it's like, oh, it wasn't real. And
it would explain her friend Estelle, how she just kind of imagined her not believing anything. It would explain. Oh, it would explain everything.
Yeah, you proved your point of how amazing you are in dissecting the comic already.
I just want to like.
There's something really cool about Estelle as well, that you in this fantasy world, time. It's not like time stands still. Time is still continuous. You still age, and Estelle. You find out that Estelle dies in this fantasy world, and it's a reborn fantasy world. So it's a second fantasy world that she goes to, or you think.
Yeah, but
then under. She's under.
Yeah, but then so is that what you're? Rhett, was that what you're talking about? My comment to you earlier about
the pool of blood.
The pool of blood.
He's Golgotha has Bonnie under, and then what happens in the real world?
She comes back. She comes back to reality because she was in a coma and she couldn't. Now we're going away from Nat's theory.
Wait, why? No, keep going.
So because it took me like talking to Rhett just for a minute, like, oh hey, what happened here? So she's in a coma, and her from being in the coma is the reborn status, right? And kind of what Nat said, where she's not all the way dead yet. So in Reborn, she gets murdered in the fantasy land, and that brings her back down to Earth, and she like awakes from her coma just for like a split second, and then she kind of talks about how
that makes sense.
Yeah, and then
Andrew, they keep on going with that.
Yeah, so
talk about the powers that she just somehow just gets in your interpretation of why she becomes more powerful the longer that she's in this coma.
Did I say that?
You did.
I'm like totally blanking. I'm like, oh, from the 10 minutes we talked, I'm like, I had this amazing idea. what was it? That it was just pretend you had the idea. And
The more okay, our theory was that
this is the best live video, by the way, too. Should do everyone live.
The more dead that Bonnie is, the more powerful she is in the fantasy world.
Right. Like she doesn't have her full, like she makes a comment like she's holding back because she's still alive. And when she dies, that's when she fully transitions to the fantasy world where she has her full powers. Is that what you were trying to spoon
exactly. That's right. Just a little morsel.
Little morsel. Yeah. I mean, listen, we can't really move forward from what Nat said of how she completely figured out.
I mean, there's just different interpretations, you know. I just feel like this is the end of the. You know, to be honest, this is the end of the story. Like, I don't want it to continue anymore because she's dead and she died, and that is it. And it shouldn't continue because this was her story, and she died, and that was it.
Well, right, and then that's where we were talking about. I mean, they could do another Reborn with a completely different character and just with completely different fantasy.
I don't know though. I don't know. It wouldn't be the same. It would be like a movie where, you know, you see a movie, you see someone's life, and then they make another movie. And you're just kind of like, the second one's not as good because we already kind of.
That's true. Okay.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Okay. What? Give me your impression. Was this kind of a ripoff of The Matrix? What's your gut feeling? Is this The Matrix, where it's just kind of like you go into another world?
Hate me for this, but I've never seen The Matrix.
Oh, that's okay. Don't worry.
Okay, so don't ask me.
It's with Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, I know. I feel like I've seen it, but then I've never I don't know. I've never really got into it.
So Nat blew my mind twice. Once with her explanation of Reborn, and two with never seeing The Matrix, which is you have to see The Matrix.
I haven't seen 2 and 3. I've just seen the original.
Okay, I have to stop this now.
Are we done?
No, it's a good movie, but I mean, The Matrix, for people who have never seen The Matrix, which would just include Nat, is is basically like Keanu Reeves is in The Matrix, and it's so ridiculous.
It's too soon. Andrew.
It's
too soon.
It's too complicated. Basically,
so we just ruined Reborn for everybody, and now we've ruined Matrix.
The Matrix. There's a great video of Will Smith talking about how he turned down The Matrix, which came out, I think, like recently, which is a great video to watch. It's a great clip. How he's like, I would have ruined The Matrix, and Keanu Reeves was amazing. And
was he supposed to be Keanu Reeves' character?
They pitched him to be.
Or was he supposed to be Morpheus?
No, he's Neo. He's Neo. I think he was supposed to be Neo, and Val Kilmer was supposed to be Morpheus.
Get out of here.
Yeah, that was Nat, it's just like over her head. It's like
I'm just like, okay.
I remember.
Are we talking about a skinny Val Kilmer here or a fat Val Kilmer?
Bloated Val Kilmer.
Nice. Like, I love fat Val Kilmer as well. I love you, Val Kilmer. Wherever you're out there.
This is taking a great turn. This is a great time to bring up how, first of all, thank you. Anyone who's still watching, I love you. And second of all, we still have a giveaway for
We're Avengers. Up to 4, by the way. Just let you know.
4 people watching?
Yeah.
Okay.
4 watching now. So we've made it big time.
We've made it. It's our 3rd video. We've made it totally. Go back to our first video. This is our 3rd video. We did one on Outcast and one on trees. The first video
I should do one video on my YouTube. Like we'll do it live on my YouTube, and then I'll just.
Sorry, can't commit to anything right now. I'm just kidding.
Fine. You know what?
What would we do it on?
That invitation. Fine.
What are we gonna, Nat, what are we gonna do it on? I'm so excited. Is it just Rhett now? Only Rhett's invited to the YouTube.
Yes. Yes.
Well, I want to come. I was just kidding.
You can join us on the chat.
Join us in the chat. I'll be in the chat. Oh my God, you guys are having so much fun. I miss this. So our first video has a giveaway. No one's Nat has basically won it because I just said just comment anything. It could be negative, and I'll give you a comic that literally
You already sent me that book though.
I did. So that comic I saw, it's like on the wall of is it Dark the LCS in Chicago, and I'm like, I have so many of those because I spec'd on it. So I'm like, I'm just giving it away, and no one wants it. No one wants to comment. So go back to the first video comment. This video, I found a bunch. Is like the glare awful? I found a bunch of these for cover price. So I'm going to be giving this issue of Reborn 1 away to anyone. One of the 4 people watching right now, all you have to do is...
We're down to 3, Andrew.
3 people. I lost that one person. Just like, comment, and subscribe. Comment anything. Comment, Keanu Reeves is awesome in The Matrix. I don't care. What is The Matrix? Any comment would do. I will send this to you for free. So just get in touch. I will get in touch with you when you comment, and this issue number 1 of Reborn will be yours. So that's my little rant, and I'm done now. Ned, what are you and Rhett going to talk about on your YouTube video?
Oh God, don't make me laugh too much. My teeth are hurting. No, honestly, I don't know. This is y'all's like thing.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to tell me because she doesn't want me involved. So you and Rhett are. So we'll figure it out.
Nice.
So you haven't read like anything?
Well, I started reading Rhett has read the Batman Year One. I have not. I'm halfway through right now, so I'm reading that, which I've
read several Millar stuff.
Okay, let's see.
I mean, what is it?
Yeah, I have read Saga, right? Like, obviously.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
For the people watching, if you haven't seen or read Saga, just that's the next thing that you pick up.
Oh, it's awesome.
Unbelievable.
It's awesome. Nat has a great party trick where she shows up to every party with a short box, and you just tell her what character you're into, and she will tell you what you absolutely need to read for that character.
Yeah, that's why nobody talks to me at parties.
Yeah. Don't talk to Nat. She's just gonna like go with you in the corner and just read comic books.
Yeah, that's pretty much me. Actually, forget the party. Stay at home in my corner and read comics.
Yeah.
I just picture everybody sitting crisscross applesauce, and she's in the middle.
Like, why is she reading comic books? Are you, Nat? Are you actively looking for comic books for us to read right now?
I am, but this is like all Saga.
Oh.
So.
Yeah, Saga is definitely number 1. We actually commented on, like.
Well, I mean, what other comics has Millar done? I mean, I know.
Don't kill yourself.
Oh,
God. I don't have to fall on you.
Ow. Ow. Okay. They're actually on the back of the book.
Right.
I don't know if you saw.
Oh yeah, it says like.
Oh, have y'all read the Magic Order?
No. They have not. No.
Oh, you know what? Let's do that one.
Okay.
Let's do that one.
Perfect.
Yeah, right here.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've seen that. I don't know what issue is it. I don't know what it's up to now. I've seen that.
No, it's just 6.
It's just 6. Yeah, I've seen that at comic stores, but I have not picked it up.
And if you see it in stores, pick it up because it's worth a little something.
Oh, it is. Oh, okay.
Especially that A cover, and this is actually an. I think this is an Adam Hughes. Yeah, this is an Adam Hughes cover.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
This to me was better. This was, I think, the B. This was the A, and the C was like black and white of this one, which I never picked it up because I'm not a fan of black and white.
Oh. So you don't like The Walking Dead?
Like the books?
Yeah, those are black and white.
I never read them.
You're not missing it. Don't worry. Well, let's.
I hate Carl.
You hate Carl. We know. You should say that in every video.
I hate Carl.
We'll talk about Magic Order. Is Carl in this? I hate him. I hope he dies. I hope he dies in this issue. It's non-existent. Should we talk? So,
we haven't hit the art very hard at all.
Rett, hit me with the art. What'd you think?
I got like an old school vibe from it. That the colors. I mean, would you call them pastel? They're
What?
the color. The coloring.
Your coloring words are too advanced for me.
Sorry, they're not vibrant.
They're not vibrant,
but I mean they're impressive. I mean, it's not like it's a turnoff. But it's not super.
They're nice.
Yeah.
I think they fit the book.
Exactly.
Yeah. Talk to me about the part in the book where they're like in the bad, whatever. They're in the bad part, and they're being chased, and then like there's some dude who's in like some black cloak is like, "Hey, come in here," and they're like,
"Oh yeah,
really cool."
That
makes perfect sense. Like what?
Well, they're running away. They was just trying to do whatever.
They're trying to run away, and some creepy dude in a trench coat is like, "Come in this portal."
Apparently, both of them accept candy from strangers. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like, let's just trust this guy.
This random dude.
They're running away, and you don't think. And I feel like since he was like, "Hey, come over here, trust me, I'm a friend." They were just kind of like, okay, like, what do we have to lose? We're basically dead either way. So,
right.
That's exactly what a bad guy would say. Hey, I'm a good guy. You can.
But what if it was a good guy?
Then he would say, "I'm a bad guy. Don't listen to me. You're in the Badlands." Like, yeah. What were their options, really? But if she's the savior, she could have killed everyone. So,
but she didn't have her full potential powers yet.
It's true.
Matt, you're making too much sense. You're making
on
too
a
much
book
sense.
I haven't read in like 3 years. I'm actually gonna go back and reread it again.
And I thought you did a really good job for being 3 years.
I remember this book a lot because I really, really liked it.
Good.
A lot.
Rett, is there anything else you wanted to talk about with Reborn?
I think we hit the main talking points. With us being able to talk about this, I mean, it's only six issues, right? Mm-hmm. Or I mean, 1 volume, 6 issues. We've been going on for an hour. So, what does that say? I mean, it says that there's a lot here in this comic, and you can go into really great detail, and it's quite amazing.
So, would you recommend it to someone?
I mean, if I had 4 thumbs, I'd give it 4 thumbs up.
So like out of 10, what would you give it?
Oh, 10.
Really?
Straight up. Yep. And I'm pretty.
That's like. There's better stuff out there.
I give it 10. I give it 10.
But it was a good story. It really was. Like that's awesome. But I wouldn't give it a 10. But it was good.
I give out 10s willy nilly.
Yeah.
I mean,
You're easily impressed. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
I feel like our comic book knowledge and reading is pretty low. So I think like once we find something that is really fun
absolutely,
and that we enjoy, I'm sure it's like a 10 because we've read. Like, because I know, I mean, I've been collecting for a few years, and I've tried a few times to collect some titles, and I've just read some and gone like, I'm okay.
I mean, supposedly for this talk, we're not gonna do Reborn. We were gonna do something else. That I was so pissed off of myself that I learned that it was just a throwaway, just like public domain Sherlock Holmes story. Which I was so angry.
Yeah, Rhett's like, let's do a 180 and switch books. That's fine. That's the whole point.
Sorry to disappoint you, but that's what a lot of comic books are like that. They're different arcs, and the stories are gonna be over, and they're gonna change.
That's why we need you on the show.
Yeah, they never.
You need to teach
on
us this
forever,
stuff.
like ever. They're not gonna continue on. I mean, The Walking Dead. Maybe that's why, because they are used to The Walking Dead, and that's been like how many issues?
Like 190 or something.
Yeah,
around
there's
there.
a lot.
Walking Dead. I mean, like what else has been like that?
Well, Walking Dead. I mean, he says in the beginning, like this will never end. This is about Rick, and it can go on forever. So do
y'all like stories like that or what?
I don't know. I think I'm starting.
Like, what did y'all think about Reborn? Like, did y'all want more, or was it good? Where y'all are like, okay, I'm satisfied. It ended really good, and it, like gave me the closure that I wanted. And
well, it depends on how you interpret the comic. If you think that everybody has their own fantasy world, I want more. I want to see. I want to see other stories from other people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if it's only about Bonnie, I'd rather it just be completely done and wrapped up the way that it did, because I think it's really well written and it's perfect the way that it is.
So what if it was a comic where it was just the exact opposite, where you follow the evil guy and you see his life story?
That would be that would be fantastic.
Okay.
Sorry, YouTube.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never had a YouTube live. I don't know what's going to happen. But I think that's the most logical thing for you. Is it would be the bad guy, seeing how, like, kind of the Joker movie coming out, where we'll see his transformation, and then like him in the Badlands and him coming, and that makes the most sense to me. To answer Nat's question, I think it was strange where I was satisfied, but then also confused why they wanted to set it up for more issues. So I think doing this video and then Nat blowing my mind and saying she was dead the whole, this isn't really real, that kind of satisfies me to the comic. So I think that kind of ends it for me. I think that it's good. It's kind of funny. We did Outcasts, and one of my gripes of it was it's just like so overwhelming with the stories and where it can go, that from my limited reading, I'm really enjoying just like the here's the story, go, like how Saga is, where it's just like, this is the story, we're following it. And Reborn was like, this is from like page 1, this is like the craziness, and let's just go. And it's
like jump
into the story and do a linear story where it's just like, this is what's happening. And I think I'm enjoying those kind of story arcs more, instead of like flash forward 40 years and then all this stuff happened, and then we can unpack the last 40 years in the next 50 issues. And I'm like, I want to just go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. And I think it'd be kind of weird. We talked about the art. There's like that one page where her memories are like a chandelier, and we have to show that. So let me find that. That's like when I saw that, I'm like, that has to be the most iconic part of this. Let me find it. Rhett, you say something while we find it.
We actually didn't talk about this, so I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, there's like
it's like her memory spiraling down.
Yeah.
Okay.
The imagery of that, I think that's.
Oh yeah, now I remember. Yep, you're right.
Excuse me while I look in this book for this image, but yeah.
It's on the first one, like the first issue.
It's in the first issue, so that should take me like 5 minutes to find.
So it should be in the first couple of pages.
Yeah, that's weird.
Well, it's something to add sort of to that while you guys are looking. I mean, you do get a sense that she is dead in two spots.
Here it is. This sorry, my hand is like covering it. Where she's kind of like kneeled down, and then her memories.
Yeah,
she's being reborn. Yeah,
that's really cool. That's cool.
Yeah, it was a cool image.
But I mean, it does mention Bonnie is thinking back on all of her life is flashing before her eyes and whatnot. Something that we didn't talk about is and why do you think she was brought back to her being 24 And I mean, she's already married. She already has her kids or whatnot. But why do you think she was brought back to?
Maybe that was her prime age. That's when she felt the best. That was maybe.
That was our
she was
thinking
living
too.
The best days of her life. I mean, I think she says when she's looking back throughout her life, at 26, she said she was married. She had her daughter.
Yeah.
So maybe
Right
before she had her
before.
daughter.
Well,
That's the
right.
best time.
Oh,
And then at the end of the book, she goes, I'm 26, I'm hot as hell, and
Ready to
oh
go.
yeah.
yeah, I'm ready to go.
Right, you wouldn't come back as our like 33, 34 selves?
Yeah, so at 22, like she was accepted into teacher training, and then she, I guess, first met her, future husband. And then at 26, she was feeding her daughter, and
Right.
kind of chilling with her husband. So maybe between those moments were like, the highlight of her life.
Yeah, that's what we're thinking as well, which it's good. We're all in the same
once you
state.
have
Yeah.
kids, it's not about you anymore. It's so, no, I mean, so maybe she likes being to where.
Right.
Sorry.
I mean, you find out that Estelle's husband was already old when he died, and was brought into the fantasy world already being old, and then he died of old age too in this fantasy. So it's kind of interesting that everybody's coming in to their own fantasy worlds, or in this particular fantasy world, at different ages.
Mm-hmm. But that does tie in with.
It doesn't matter. I think it doesn't matter because it's her fantasy world.
Right.
So everyone else is like irrelevant. It's just little extras to her life.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, you were supposed to drop the bombshell of what the comic was about right at the end, not in the middle. I'm just kidding. You did a good job. No, you did a good job.
No, I'm sorry. It like hit me. I was just like, oh my god.
No, that's the whole point. So I think we can end it here. I think thank you so much for joining us, and if you're watching it the replay, thank you for watching it then too. And you can also check out our other videos. We have the two not raffles but giveaways for the first video and this video, and then also apparently you can join Rett and Nat on Nat's channel talking about the Magic Order sometime soon. I'm sure it's going to be awesome. I'm so excited.
Blow your mind. I can't wait.
It's going to blow your mind.
This. Let's do this tomorrow, okay?
Tomorrow. So we have to
we have less than 24 hours.
I read 3 issues in like 20 minutes, guys.
So we have to get it, and we have to read it. But sounds good. Are you guys going to do it live, or are you going to do? Are you going to do it?
I don't know. We haven't talked about it yet.
Okay. I'm sure you guys will talk offline about.
Yeah.
Of course.
The chemistry. Well, this is so much fun. Rhett, do you have any parting words?
Game of Thrones.
Oh my God.
That's all what I have to say. Game of Thrones. You're a fan, right?
Yes, you're asking me, right? Yeah.
Oh, I just anybody. Yes, the 3 people watching. Are you Game of Thrones?
Oh my gosh.
All right. A question for both of you. Who sits on the throne at the end? Although this is the most important question that I'll ever ask you.
Oh, I thought you go first.
Anybody? Bueller.
I don't know. I don't want to say the wrong thing.
There's nothing wrong. There's no wrong answers.
Is anyone allowed to say the Ice King guy?
Oh yeah.
I want everyone to die. I want the Ice King people, whatever, the Walkers.
I'm thinking
Walkers.
Pot Pie, the Arya's friend.
Oh yeah, yeah. We should do a whole YouTube live video.
I'm joking about that.
I feel like there is going to be like a huge twist like that. Like everyone's going to die, and there's going to be just like some random house reborn.
See that right there is my fantasy. I hope that
we're best friends. Like this is like doing. Our own thing.
Yeah.
We're like the same.
Rett, I'm going to blow your mind.
Tyrion.
The whole show is a dream.
Oh,
because Jon Snow really dead.
This is in Dallas. This is
No,
not
this is
Dallas.
Reborn. This is Nat's
Shut up
Reborn.
now. Okay.
Is that it's really Jon Snow is really dead, and this whole thing is just a dream.
All right,
And
guys.
in the end,
Thanks
he
for
did-
watching.
when Jon Snow's on the throne, we'll just wake up.
I just punched you through this
This is not
screen.
Reborn, okay.
But in all seriousness, I can't talk. Nat, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. You
We
so
had
nice.
a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Nat,
me too.
you don't even know how much I
Thanks.
bother Nat on Instagram about like, hey, what's this comic, or like, what is
Oh, no,
this?
you're not
And
at all.
she is such a nice person, and thank you so much for joining us. I really do appreciate it, and yeah, and we hope to have you on again whenever we're gonna be posting on like Instagram, like, hey, this is what we're reading this week. If anyone wants to come on the show, feel free to message me on Instagram, and we'll have you on. And we're just looking to have fun, and we're just have a good time.
I
So
hate
Nat,
Carl.
it's Carl. Nat, do you have any parting words?
No, I mean, thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun. This is one of my top series, so I'm glad that I got to,
Comic book campaign is one of your
Yeah.
top series.
I was like, hey.
No, Reborn.
Oh,
I mean, you guys too.
I know. That was just
So.
funny. Well, thank you so
It was
much.
fun.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much. And and check us out. And thank you so much for watching.